Hello and welcome to the transcription explanation of this design. It translates out to the words "let me be brave," and this script is read starting at the bottom and then it goes counterclockwise, like a time traveler going back in time. And we also have a little start marker on this design here. This shape here tells us that this is the bottom and that we go counterclockwise this way. So it's kind of like a little eyeball looking in that direction. And in this relatively simplistic style, we can clearly see there's the word "let me be brave," and I did put a little bit of emphasis with a thicker ring going around the word brave to kind of add some oomph to that word. Otherwise, everything is done with a consistent 0.7 mm size, which is pretty ideal for a tattoo, because when you get a tattoo, the lines will bleed. So a line that's this thin will eventually thicken up to be twice as thick as that. So these 0.7 mm lines are going to thicken up to be about double their size, and it'll still be legible. So let's go ahead and read this design. This one is 1.2. We're going to make it 0.7. Okay. So we have a full circle inside of our word circle. And because it is a full circle, if we look at the grid above us, it's going to be one of the letters in the second row. So you see how that second row starts with a J, and then a PH, so on and so forth. And one of those letters is an L. And in the column that the L is in, there are 1, 2, 3 dots. So that combination of 3 dots and a full circle makes this the letter L. Then vowels, these little guys, they have different positions depending on what vowel they are and if they're attached to a consonant. So an E is centered, and that means it's centered right in the middle or inside of a consonant like it is here, or it's centered on the line of our word circle like this E and like this E. So here's an E centered inside of this divot. Here's an E centered inside of that full circle. This is an E centered on the word circle. This is another E centered on the word circle, where this A is floating outside of our word circle. So this is an L, and then there's the E. You read consonants first and then vowels when they're together like this. And then this shallow divot has no dots with it or lines ending on it, so that makes it a T. So that's the word let. The word me here has one line here, a second line here, and a third line here. So that's 3 total lines, putting it in the 3-line column. So that's the M. Here's our E we talked about. A B is a horseshoe with no dots or lines. And then here's our E centered on our word circle. Now this B has a line going through it, and lines that go through letters do not count. So this is a B. And then an R has 3 dots on it. A is outside the word circle. A V is the shallow divot shape with 1 line ending on it, and then there's that E we talked about. So there's your design for Let Me Be Brave. I hope you like it, and I hope this video makes a little bit of sense.